Oh, why do I do this to myself?
Alright, back into the fray with farming. Welcome back to another adventure where I talk far too long about useless things. Today we're going to be going through farming. Farming in Novus Inceptio is rather simplified, which is kind of a surprise since everything else in the game is quite complex. But while it is surprising, it's a relief to just slow down and not worry about nothing but your plants. That being said, there are some tips and tricks I'm going to show you to maximize your in-game farming. Much like in real life, in order to farm, you gotta get some seeds. These can easily be found by using the botanize skill, which is set to 1 by default. I don't really want to get into it, but I spent the last while foraging about trying to see what all seeds there were, and I'm throwing in the towel to say that these are what they are. You can also make the seeds through the crafting menu if you have enough of the plant you're trying to make seeds from. I tried to see if crafting the seeds would raise the tier or quality of them at all, and it did, but only by 1 tier. It may have been that my level was low, or maybe it just won't raise much in general, but I don't know for sure. To plant them, you simply right-click the seeds and select the plant option. Here's where a lot of players trip themselves out. You would think you should just plant them side by side in neato rows and stuff, right? Well, you can, but honestly I can't be bothered by that. I'm a man of efficiency, so I just stack them one on top of another and right next to each other. I try to keep the ancient mushrooms and everything else separate because they take so long to grow, but I usually don't come back to harvest them until the next time I play anyway, so it's not a huge deal. The plants do their thing, and you can help them do their thing by adding water, weeding, adding compost, or adding fertilizer in that order. These things can decrease the growing time, but I usually just leave them because, meh. You harvest them with the rake in your belt by right-clicking and waiting. Give me a second here. This'll just take a little longer. And a few more. And gonna skip here and done. You can randomly get seeds from harvesting, so from there you can rinse and repeat. Farming is one of those things that I really enjoy in real life, so it's always something I'm really nitpicky about in games. That being said, there is plenty of room for improvement within the game, but the developers have many other bigger things to focus on than farming, so I don't really mind the way it is now. The payout of your farming efforts may pay out in the long run if your skill is high enough, but I don't really feel like leveling it that high to find out. So for now, it's really not worth my time when I have a tier 10 alchemy lab and a tier 10 cherry tree. You're all I need, cherry tree. I used to plant a ton of cotton because cotton has higher stats than other plants when it comes to crafting, but then I found out it can be AFK produced from the alchemy lab, so now I barely farm at all. That being said, farming is a nice touch added to the game to slow things down a bit, so it makes the game that much more enjoyable. I really like how it slows it down a bit because everything else is really fast-paced and kind of complex. This little break of simplicity really adds to the flavor of the game that I really enjoy. Alright, that concludes my talk on basic farming. I'm almost done gathering what I need to gather for the crafting guide, so stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, classes are getting harder and harder as time goes on, so I'm not sure when it'll be out, though I guess it doesn't really matter since I don't have a following and I'm just doing this for fun anyways. But the next Novus Inceptio video will in fact be the crafting guide. So until I see you in the field, happy hunting!